Okay, so we have been talking about weathering, erosion, and deposition for the last few days. Yes? Okay, so together, let's do our hand motions. Okay, so make your mountain, make your W. Okay, so weathering is the breaking down of rock. Say it again. Weathering is the
breaking down of rock.
Okay, erosion is
Carrying
carrying it away, and deposition is dropping it in a new place, right? Okay, and most of the time, weathering and erosion happens at the same time. Think about it. If a river is rushing and it's taking away little pieces of rock from the side, from the riverbank, but it's also carrying them away, that's weathering and erosion, right? Okay, so a lot of times it happens at the same time. So today we're gonna watch. So we've already watched a video on weathering and erosion, right? Real world video. We watched the Magic School Bus, and then I'm gonna go ahead and show you Brain Pop for weathering and erosion and glaciers, because at least that way you'll see how glaciers kind of work. You don't have glaciers in Texas, so it's hard to understand what they do, right? And then what we're going to do today is you are going to be creating a Frere model. You've all seen this before. You've done it in Mrs. Morrow's class. You're all going to make a Frere model of weathering, a Frere model for erosion, and a Frere model for deposition, right? Because we've already done some labs. We did the lab with the bouillon and the sugar cube and learned about weathering. Yes? Okay, we did the lab with the sugar. We learned about erosion and what happened to the sugar at the end? Yesterday, the sugar, water went over the sugar cubes. The sugar cubes broke apart. That was weathering and erosion. And at the end, it flowed over the end and deposited, right? Okay, so we have an example of that. So the problem is, I want you to be able to show me that you understand weathering, erosion, deposition, not just from doing a lab with our hands, not just from watching a video, but can you give me the definition? Can you draw a picture of what weathering, erosion, or deposition would look like? Can you give an example? And can you use the word in a sentence? Okay? So today we're going to be doing our Frere model. Again, you're going to define the word in kid-friendly language. The easiest way to do this is to remember our little trick. Weathering is the
breaking down of rock.
literally, that's all you have to write. Weathering is the breaking down of rock. Erosion is the carrying away of what? What are you carrying away?
Carrying away of rock.
The rock that got weathered, right? It's the carrying away of weathered material, okay? And then deposition is
Dropping it in a new place.
dropping it in a new place, okay? So if I just take a rock outside and drop it, have I performed deposition? No, okay? Deposition goes with weathering and erosion, okay? If I go outside and kick the dirt, am I erosion? No, right? So it's natural processes. It's water, wind, and ice. It's not a person doing it, okay? And so water would be waves or rivers or lakes or rain, right? Wind is wind. That's what wind is. And then ice would be, for us, ice would be ice that gets in cracks, right? Water that gets in cracks and expands as it freezes and then contracts as it unfreezes. And then glaciers, all right? So we're going to watch two videos, actually three, sorry. You're going to watch weathering, erosion, and then glaciers. And then you're going to be able to do your Frere model. So for the sketch, I want you to think about the video we watched of the real world. Think about the Magic School Bus. Think about Tim and Moby. Think about what you see on the screen that you remember in your head. So it's just a picture. It's a snapshot, right? It's a screenshot of whatever was on there that you can remember. And you're going to draw it. Again, your example, probably the best thing for your example is just to explain your picture, right? Erosion is when, or weathering is when this happens. So whatever you drew here, you can explain it. That's your example. And then your sentence is using this word in a sentence. In the last class, my kids were not doing that. They were like, the breaking down. I saw a rock break down. Awesome. Okay. I saw a rock get weathered by the river. That is a sentence using the word, right? So you could use the word weathering. You could use the word weathered. Or you could use the word weather.
No.
Probably just weathering or weathering. Okay, what about erosion? There's erosion, there's erode, and there's eroded, right? And then deposition, what's the word in deposition that we talked about yesterday? Not drop, the first word? Deposit. Okay, so deposition, deposit, deposited, okay? So you can use past, present, for your words. Alright, are y'all ready to watch Tim and Moby?
Yeah.
They're our friends, we like them. Okay. Alright, so the first one is weathering, live person. Who's the live person? Thank you. Not while this is on, babe. This is my lesson, so we pay attention.
Ow. Dear Tim and Moby, what is weathering? From Melissa. Yep, I bet weathering is responsible for those cracks. Weathering is the process that breaks rocks down into fragments and eventually sediments. Soil formation depends on sediments from weathering, and those same bits make up sedimentary rocks. Weathering can even change the Earth's surface over time. Mechanical weathering breaks down rocks without changing their chemical composition. Forces like growing plants, expanding ice, lightning, and mineral crystal growth can all...
So could these two pictures be helpful in your Frere model?
Yes.
So that's what I'm talking about. When I say think about what you're watching, really think about something on here that catches your eye that you can draw easily to show what's going on. We have not talked about lightning or minerals, so these two are not going to be part of what you draw.
all cause mechanical weathering. Plant roots grow into cracks of rock where they can find water and nutrients. When these tree roots get big enough, they'll force the concrete apart. Ice can do the same thing. In cold weather, water freezes and forces rock apart, creating all sorts of pressure. Then it gets warm, and that ice melts, leaving cracks and making the rock weaker. Chemical weathering happens when water, air, or other substances react with the minerals in rocks, soil, and building materials to change their chemical composition. When water...
Can I go back just real quick? When this happens with rock, the water freezing, right here, this happens over time. Like, it's not like where it freezes one time and then the rock breaks. But if you think about like temperatures, how it's like hot in the afternoon and cold at night in the morning, like every day for the water that's inside of a rock to expand and contract and expand and contract and expand and contract, eventually it will break it, right? Think about when you have a piece of paper and you want to, not even that, think about plastic. If I have a piece of plastic and I bend it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, what's going to happen to it?
Eventually break.
Eventually it will break. Like whenever I have a credit card and I get a new one and I want to get rid of it, I break it, right? I cut it or I bend it so much that it finally cracks, right? So that's the thing. It doesn't just happen one day. Like it's not going to freeze tonight and then tomorrow you got all these rocks that are broken apart. It happens over time. So we're talking a long time, right? Because remember, weathering is not a fast change to the Earth's surface. We talked about fast changes, right? We talked about volcanoes and landslides and earthquakes in third grade. Those are fast changes. Weathering, erosion, deposition are slow changes. So it does not happen quickly. It happens over time. But it's cartoon and they're trying to show you what happened. So that's why they kind of speed it up. Okay?
and it gets warm, and that ice melts, leaving cracks and making the rock weaker. Chemical weathering happens when water, air, or other substances react with the minerals in rocks, soil, and building materials to change their chemical composition. When water reacts with carbon dioxide in the air, it makes carbonic acid. Carbonic acid reacts with the calcite in limestone. Over thousands of years, an entire cave like this can form.
So that's why
from
we have
chemical
caves
weathering.
in Central Texas. We have a lot of limestone.
I'm ready to go. What about you? I think you better find another place to skateboard.
He wants to go slow, right? Okay, let's do erosion.
Does he see what he had on his books?
So carbon dioxide is pollution in the air. And when there's a lot of pollution in the air, when the rain falls, it captures carbon dioxide. It's a gas, right? And it turns into carbonic acid. When you go outside, acid rain is not going to burn your skin, okay? But over time, when rain is super acidic, it starts to break things down. And so that's what they're talking about. So when we have rain that falls, it's got a lot of acid in it, and it goes through our limestone is like a sponge, right? The water kind of goes through it. And then that's where all the caves come from that are underneath the Austin area. The caves come from the fact that we have limestone, and over millions of years, that carbonic acid, that rain, has caused it to break apart. All right, erosion.
What's that? Ow! Dear Tim and Moby, what's erosion? Does it make a sound? From Minnie P. Funny you should ask, Minnie. We just had kind of a close call with the forces that cause erosion. Erosion happens when running water, wind, waves, or glaciers pick up
look
stuff
at
like
those
dirt and
pictures.
rocks from
Those
Earth's
can help
surface
you
and move
today.
them around. Plant roots hold sand or soil together against the effects of wind and water. When they're not there, erosion goes nuts. Nope, weathering is related to erosion, but they're not quite the same thing. Weathering occurs when rocks are broken into fragments. Erosion occurs when those fragments move. Sandblasting is a type of weathering that happens when particles of dirt and sand wear away at rock over time. Water leads to weathering and erosion too. Rivers, rain, and the ocean carry away soil and wear down surfaces. Erosion creates floodplains, sandbars, and river deltas. Over millions of years, water can make fantastically deep canyons and even change the shapes of continents. Beaches are formed by weathering and erosion too. Sand is made by the gradual process of pebbles being broken up into smaller and smaller pieces by the motion of waves. A kind of erosion that may not be as easy to spot is glacial erosion. As glaciers move, they slowly but steadily pick up loose materials from the ground. Pieces of rock caught on the glacier's surface grind mountain walls and valleys. Yep, that's erosion all right. It usually happens much slower, but you've got the basic principle.
He sandblasted his arm. Okay, and the last one is glaciers. So think about alright, glaciers. Again, we don't have glaciers, so it's hard to understand, but hopefully this will help you a little bit, okay? And again, look for visuals that can help you
You said it was summertime in
with your
Antarctica.
prayer models.
Doesn't feel like it. Dear Tim and Moby, what are glaciers, and will I ever see one? From Denise. Well, if you come here, you will. Glaciers are huge, slow-moving mountains of ice that erode the land, changing the way it looks. In some places, like Antarctica, for instance, it's so cold that snow piles up and stays on the ground all year long. When the snow piles high enough, the bottom layers are compressed into ice. And if it piles really high, the pressure causes the bottom layer to melt partially, becoming soft like putty. That slippery layer starts to move, carrying the ice pile with it, and you've got a glacier. Antarctica is covered with continental glaciers so thick that you can't even see most of the ground. Okay, it's too cold here. Let's go to Colorado. Unlike continental glaciers that require extreme cold and tons of snow, valley glaciers can be found all over the world. Some mountain peaks are high enough that they stay frozen year-round and accumulate more mass each time it snows. When glaciers get moving, they're like bulldozers, eroding land, tearing up trees, and carrying rocks and soil along. Only they move way slower than bulldozers, sometimes slower than 2 centimeters a year. And glaciers have carves into the side of the mountain.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back so we can look. I want you to notice when this glacier is moving. When that glacier is moving, I want you to look at the rocks that are at the bottom of that glacier. Because as the glacier moves, it's taking rocks with it. And then those rocks grind against other rocks. And what happens is they start to weather away, right? So watch the rocks at the bottom.
Knows. When glaciers get moving, they're like
See?
bulldozers, eroding land, tearing up trees, and carrying rocks and soil along.
See all that?
I mean, they move way slower than bulldozers, sometimes slower than 2 centimeters a year.
So that was what? An example of what? Jackson?
Weathering.
Weathering. That glacier is is breaking off and picking up pieces of rock, right? And those rocks make the glacier heavier and it breaks up and picks up more. Okay.
The glaciers have carves into the side of the mountain. Often, you can see evidence of glacial movement and even figure out which way the glacier moved. Right, downhill. Glaciers tend to drag along hunks of rock, leaving grooves and striations. Another sure sign of a valley glacier is a bowl-shaped area of erosion called a cirque. And if we get 2 or more glaciers eroding a mountain summit from different directions, ridges called arches and peaks called horns will form. Obi? Uh-oh.
It would never happen.
Probably soft though.
Okay, so what we're gonna do,
Keep waiting.
what we're gonna do is in your journal, you're going to, so this is yesterday's page, we have weathering, erosion, deposition, definitions in our journal, which will help you today. You're gonna turn the page and you're gonna do 3 Frere models. So all I've done is half my page, right? Okay, and actually I can show you, where's y'all's journal? Here's y'all's journal. Okay, so all I did was figured out where my page was cut in half. I just kind of guesstimated, right? I use a ruler because I like things to be straight. So I just guessed that this looks about like half the page. Alright, so I'm going to have 1 Frere model up here and 1 down here. How do you make a Frere model? First, you write the word in the middle. Okay? I know that y'all seen it with diamonds before, like you have a diamond like on the board. Just write the word, draw a circle around it, and then make your 4 pieces. So you're going to do this for all 3. So in the first corner, you're going to define the word. So kid-friendly definition. What's a kid-friendly definition?
Something that's not inappropriate. Something that a little kid can understand.
Right, something that you can understand. And honestly, we've done it. If you think about our little hand motions, those are your kid-friendly definitions, all right? So you've got a kid-friendly definition. You have a sketch, which is a drawing. Draw. Drawing, sketch means the same thing. Down here, you've got an example. So what would be an example of something that was created because of weather? It talks about several of them. Noah?
Glaciers?
Glaciers are not created from weathering. Glaciers cause weathering. Okay? So I'm going to put example or explain, because you can explain your picture and that might help you. If you explain what you drew, that would help you over here. And then finally, you're going to use the word in a complete sentence. Okay, so weathering, erosion, deposition. And I will go ahead and make this bigger. I will zoom in and I will freeze it so it doesn't go away. Okay, so I want to say it one more time because people in my first class are a little confused. So for the first one, kid-friendly definition, honestly, I know you're talking about weathering. If you wanna say weathering is blah, 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 you can, or you can just say, blah, just say what it is. Remember, kid friendly is gonna be, weathering is the
Breaking down of rock.
breaking down of rock. Erosion is the
Moving.
carrying away of the
No.
weathered material. So the weathered rock gets carried away, and then deposition is the dropping of the material, right? So he talked about sediment. What was the other word he used?
So pick it up, carry it, drop it.
Yes, not pick it up, break it, carry it, drop it. Right?
Breaking.
So sediment, it gets broken into sediment, it gets broken into smaller pieces. All right, drawing, you're drawing a picture that shows weathering, a picture that shows erosion, a picture that shows deposition. Think about the pictures, think about the visuals that you saw, and pick one of those. For example, you can give an example of weathering, or you can explain what weathering is, like explain your drawing, okay? And then use the word in a complete sentence. That does not mean write the definition again. It means I saw weathered material, blah, blah, like somehow you're using a sentence with the word, okay? Questions, comments, concerns about this? Yes? Anybody, questions? Yes?
On the drawing, can you draw an ocean breaking down the wall like that?
Yes, yes, if that's your example, girlfriend, you sure can. Okay? So materials managers, you're gonna go ahead and go get your bins so that you can get started. When you're finished, hold on, wait. Hands and eyes. I don't want you guys to say, can I do this as an example? Can I do this as a picture? What is the I want you to show me that you understand this. Where can you find the definitions of these words?
In your notebook.
In your notebook. It's in the page right before you do this. So just look in your notebook if you need to remember what we did. We've done labs, we've watched videos. Now you're going to show me that you understand these words. Wyatt, can you get the lights? Can a man make what? Yeah. Okay, so you should have your journal. And you should be drawing your air models first. If you would like a ruler, they're in the top drawer over here. Just make sure you put them back, okay? Actually, I'm going to put the rulers. I'm going to put the rulers up on the couch. Yeah, that's because people take these together. Alright, rulers are on the couch if you want them. Here.
Oh, you know that?
My rulers are all taped together.
You tape 100. You tape. You get like one. Like they rate it all like the original balls.
Okay, your ruler is to help you draw straight lines, so please get started doing that if you're going to use them. Boys at table 1, please do your work. Thank you.
What would we title it in our notebooks?
Just had it prayer models. Okay. If you want to know how to spell fair models, it's right there. You probably don't have room to put fair model on the page, but you can write it in your table of contents.
What's next? Oh, I need to draw my fingers.
No, you can't draw your fingers. Draw like a real world picture, like a real world. Okay.
Oh.
Where'd that go?
Okay, so like a statue.
Something being weathered, yeah.
Something being red. No, it's not here. Say no copyrights. No copyrights. I'm doing it first.
It's okay. Most people are gonna have the same example. We watch the same stuff. No big deal. You don't get points for being the first one to draw.
You should know that by now.
This would be what?
Alright. So before, so this is before. After. Before?
No pen. Use pencil, please.
That's what I'm doing. Come on. Before and after. It's first. For weather. That's a happy technique. This is also a good part. Before immediate tape. Oh, I really.
Okay. Is it overflowing on the floor?
So it's what it was here.
Okay.
Now the playground's in my back.
All right. Good job, Chance.
Oh, when there was a stream, and so me and so we had like a hundred sand bags. Oh, my hands are wet. My parents didn't know what to do, so we opened all the sandbags up, then we dumped them in the stream, and so we made like a giant wall.
Hey, work and talk.
Okay, I will work, talk, and play.
Or you're gonna not work, or you're not gonna talk or play.